Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whenever and wherever you find yourself watching this podcast. My name is Jolene, and this is Jolene's Books and Writers Talk, where I invite guests to come in and talk about books, their writing process, publishing, narrating, and a variety of other topics that we can get into over the coming weeks and months. So these are free to view and listen to. If you want to be part of the podcast, please check out my website. I'll give a link down below where you can go and sign up. We can record it and you just tell me which days work for you. Now, my first guest, a long distance member of the First Coast Romance Writers, that's how we met. And she attends their meetings on Zoom like I have to because I'm too far away. So, without further ado, award-winning author Debbie Grahl lives in Hilton Head, South Carolina with her husband, David. Besides writing, she enjoys biking and walking on the beach and a glass of wine at sunset. Her favorite places to visit are New Orleans, New York City, Captiva Island in Florida, the Cotswolds in England, and her home state of Michigan. She is a history buff who also enjoys reading murder mysteries, time travel, and of course, romance. Visually impaired since childhood by retinitis pigmentosa, or RP, she uses screen reader software to help her research and write her books. So please welcome Debbie. All righty, you go, girl.
Hi, I'm Debbie Grahl, and I'm here to tell you about my new release, Island Heat, the second in my Carolina series. Follow Austin and Susanna from the deck of a cruise ship to the beautiful beaches of Hilton Head Island as they discover romance, intrigue, and murder. Island Heat, a romantic suspense from the Wild Rose Press.
Very nice.
I've got a new author. I just love her. Her name is Verity Bright. She writes these 1920s cozy sort of books. And I can't read them fast enough, but she puts out a little newsletter every Tuesday. And she gives not only talk about her books, but she gives other books, to read, different authors. And I think I just really enjoy that. Now, I actually do have a newsletter. But once again, I'm terrible at it. And so I haven't probably put anything on it since, I don't know, probably Mountain Blaze was released. So that's another thing I have to do is get on there and share something on there and with this new release.
Yeah, if you can just do it once a month, take a couple of minutes and say, "Oh, I read the latest so and so novel," and throw a picture in your newsletter. And this is what I liked about it. And people like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they do. You're absolutely right. Yes, I do myself.
Me too. I end up going on the TikTok here, and I followed mystery writers. They're the hardest to find on social media, by the way. There's a lot of fantasy and fiction, but not a lot of mystery writers. So I keep going on my newsletters and telling them, hey, you need to do a TikTok or a YouTube. You need to get out there and show me, the mystery writers are not represented.
Yeah, and that's something, and that's my favorite. I mean, that's when I started writing. I wanted to write mysteries, well, more like mystery cozies. And at the time, an editor I was dealing with said that they really weren't selling. And that's when she said, if you want to sell books, write romance. And so but I don't write just straight romance. I mean, my romances all have some sort of mystery to them. I can't just write boy meets girl sort of thing. But I'm like you, I love British mysteries. Oh my gosh. Anything that takes place in England, I like to read it. For another, like one of my escapes, her name is Danielle Garrett, and I discovered her, and she writes these little paranormal books with witches and ghosts and stuff, which I love. And she just puts them out like crazy, and they're just good. They're just escape into another world type book. And I absolutely love them. And I found her through, reading a newsletter from another author.
See, they work.
They work. They do.
What comes first for you, the plot or the characters, and why?
Well, actually, I start with the location. I decide where I want to set the book, and then I come up with the plot. And then when I have the plot, the characters sort of just develop on their own. Well, one example is Island Heat. I don't know how many times I rewrote Island Heat. I wasn't sure. I knew who the characters were going to be, but I wasn't sure actually what the storyline was going to be. And Austin and Susanna just sort of took over in my head, and out came the book.
Very cool. What's your favorite and least favorite part about publishing?
Well, my favorite is when I can type the end and send it to my editor and she loves it. The worst is marketing. I do not like to market books. I'm not a marketer and I don't want to be a marketer, but it's part of all the publishing. You have to do it.
How did you come up with the title of your latest book?
Well, to be honest, Island Heat was supposed to be the first in my Carolina series. And it ended up being the second. Mountain Blaze, the story for Mountain Blaze, just came into my head, and that one had to be written first. But when I was researching Mountain Blaze, it's in the mountains outside of Asheville, North Carolina, and there was just absolute spectacular sunset, and the word blaze popped into my head. So that's where I came up with Mountain Blaze. So I wanted to sort of stay with that theme. And then so we went to Hilton Head and it became Island Heat. For the First Coast anthologies, mine are all, they're more sweet. There's hinting around. Well, no, I take that back. The last one wasn't. No, that's right. I did have a little in there. But what gets me is, well, they moved it up. I think now it's 8,000 words. And first it was like 3,000 or something. And I'm thinking, how can I write a story in 3,000 words? But I have a little, it's mine is a continuum, and it's witches. It's a school for witches out in Colorado, and it starts in the late 1800s. And so every story I just bring in another character from the previous story. And so I'm really having fun with that. And I'm getting nice reviews for them.
Cool.
But like I said,
Thank you, Debbie Grahl, for being our guest on Jolene's Book and Writers Talk.